Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Testing. Welcome to another episode of Marcus Speaks. I'm your host, Marcus. I don't know why I can't hear myself in this damn microphone, but anyway, how's it going, y'all? If you know what is going on, because I don't know what's going on, I can't hear myself in my microphone. But anyway, what's going on with y'all? Um, with that being said, because I'm still trying to look and see what the hell is wrong. But anyway, um, if you ever been here before, please hit that like button, hit that share button. Also, please subscribe if you are new here. What the hell is going on with my camera? Maybe I have to do this. Might just have to do this. Please keep me in focus. Anyway, people, please hit that chat. I do have the link that is pinned there, as well as the phone number. So please do yourself a favor, if you would like to come up here tonight and come talk to me, you can, because hey, it's a lot to talk about tonight. Please, like I said, sub to this channel, but also please go in the description box. Do yourself a favor, go to the description box and hit that hit the Rumble link, because every time I go live, because every time when I go live, I would like to get subscribers over there, so I can start streaming over there. So if I simulcast the Rumble, I can if things get spicy over here with the audience, we're starting to talk about some stuff. That will enable me to be able to cut this stream here on YouTube, continue it on Rumble, so we can continue the conversation. So please do yourself a favor. Go to the description box. Go until you see the Rumble in the description box. Hit that Rumble link. If you don't already have Rumble, download it. Download Rumble. All right, and then follow me on Rumble at Marcus Speaks, all one word. Well, it's spelled MARCUS, capital S, PEAKS. Okay. Okay, so usually I have a show on Fridays. It's my game stream day, but since I'm on hiatus with the game stream, I'm doing my podcast on various days. So either Friday or Saturday you'll catch me. I like Fridays though. I like to compete with these night podcasts that come on Fridays, because it helps push me out there, number one, and number two, I don't really think people be on YouTube watching podcasts on Saturdays, so I'm gonna see if I can continue this on Fridays, so I can start bringing people in. But both of those shows normally come on at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday and Saturday. But if you would like to come up here and come and speak to me, you can. The link is pinned in the chat. Please do yourself a favor and head on over to the chat. If you'd like to talk to me later on, once I present all of my topics tonight, you can hit that link, or you can call the call-in number at 302-283-9791. Once again, that number is 302-283-9791. And if you want to, if you call in, long distance, please hit that one so you don't get charged. And also, if you're calling out of state, out of country, I have no idea how you would do that, but figure it out, I guess. Also, you hit the link or hit the number, you will have to follow some rules. So, rule number one, off top, you must be on camera at all times when you come back here in the backstage. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. You have to be on camera at all times. You just can't pop back here, but yeah, I'm up here. No, I will boot you out of here. Please be on camera at all times when you come back here. All right? Now, if you don't want to be on camera to the public, that is fine. There's a question back here that I would like you to answer. Answer the question with your name. The instructions are back here, so if you mess it up, I have nothing to say to you. I'll just kick you out. So, so make sure you follow that for me. And please mute all background noise, silence anything if you want to come up here and come talk to me. With that being said, if you do come up here and come talk to me, and you have a loud background or feedback, I'm kicking you off. It's just the way it is. Alright, so help me help you. So, also with that being said, The scrolling ticker right now down at the bottom is starting over. That is for you. Please read over that. And in the meantime, if you could like this video, sub if you have not already done so, and if you are new here. And also, please share this stream to your friends, family, co-workers, cousins, whoever the hell that you fuck with in life. Make sure you do that for me. If you ever have watched my show, you know that I like to play videos. Videos help me further what I'm talking about when it comes to my podcast, with the topics that I will be presenting to you guys tonight. With that being said, I have to follow both YouTube guidelines and U.S. law and possibly international fair use law. So, with that being said, instead of me saying it from my actual mouth right now, I'll just let my past self tell you guys exactly what fair use is. All right, why is that not playing? All right, hold on one second. I have no clue why that is not playing. And my sound is messed up for some reason. Um, let's do it like that, and let's see if it works now. And it doesn't. All right, so I'm gonna have to quit. All right, let's see now. Let's see now. Hopefully, fingers crossed. All right, still no. Okay, if you, I'm tired of this. Okay, so basically it says federal law allows citizens to produce. I don't know what it says. Uh, Basically it says federal law warning. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or or this under certain circumstances without authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 USC 107. That's basically what it says. And let me let me do this. This shit is crazy. Now, can you guys hear me now? Yeah. How about now? Let's see if it works. It doesn't work. I'm gonna have to fix that later. I don't know what the hell's up with that. Anyway, let me get on with my show. Okay, y'all. So, if you guys haven't seen yet, and hopefully the TV's working in the background. So Just Pearly Things has went on to Pierce Morgan to talk about or to debate feminism and um she was talking about debating feminism and also other array of topics when it comes to men and women and what we all bring to the table or whatever. So crazy thing is she was she was getting owned the entire time and she didn't realize it that she was getting owned. So without further ado, I bring to you the very video of what's making the rounds here on the internet of her making an entire ass of herself. Here we go.
Welcome back to Piers Morgan Uncensored. Pearl Davis has racked up a legion of online followers and plenty of breathless newspaper coverage by sharing her incendiary views on modern feminism. The New York Post called her the female Andrew Tate, so she tapped into genuine female pushback to the excesses of wokery, or is she just an attention seeker? We'll find out in a moment. But first, let's take a look at the clip that sent her viral.
A lot of people think I'm insane because I don't think women should vote. Everybody thinks I'm crazy for this opinion. If anything, this is probably my most extreme opinion. 90% of women have been on birth control. 1 out of 3 women has had an abortion. 1 out of 3 women has an STD. Average body count is over 5, so that your average wife has slept with over 5 people. 95% of women are not virgins on their wedding days. So I understand the complaint.
Okay, well, Pearl joins me now alongside political journalist Ava Santini, who was nodding furiously along there to everything she heard. Right, Pearl, you would be called the female Andrew Tate. How do you plead?
Well, I take it as a compliment. You know, I'm a fan of Andrew Tate.
Of everything he says?
It depends what we're talking about, but overall, I think he's got a good message. I think he's good for young men.
Okay, look, you're talking about women predominantly, which is why you've got this big following. And your view is that modern feminism is deeply flawed. I would argue a lot of your proposals, like taking the vote away from women, are deeply regressive. Mm-hmm. Why would you want to remove just from yourself the right to vote?
Well, what happened was I had the same view, right? Back when I started, I was like, why? I found out that only 5% of women wanted the right to vote. And I couldn't figure out, like, why would women not? No, it's true. It's true.
At the time.
At the time.
You've been conditioned by men to think that they shouldn't have a vote.
I mean, that's what they say. But, you know, I started reading.
1 second, y'all. 1 second. All right, my bad. All right, here we go.
their writings, right? And what I found out was that the reason a lot of women advocated for it was because they believed it was the beginning of the breakdown of the family. You know, before you became one in marriage, 85% of people were married. And, you know, I hate to say it, but they were right. What has happened 100 years later?
What's that got to do with them having the vote?
Well, it also goes back to responsibility. Again, men are 80 to 90% of the military. They run all of the infrastructures that make society run. So I just think if we want an equal say in society, then be equal. Do 50% of the hard jobs. Be 50% of the military. In the U.S., they're fined $250,000 if they don't join selective service, which is essentially the draft.
Okay, but
all right, so this idiot is basically trying to basically convince, because that's what she's trying to do. She's trying to convince I'm guessing Pierce Morgan and his other guests about how feminism's broken and you know, men have to do this, men have to do that, because her opening statements was basically a bunch of bullshit, to be honest. Like, she really didn't know entirely what the fuck she was talking about every time she was up here, but I'm gonna allow you guys to see this. So basically with this video, I'm gonna be skipping around, but a lot of the parts in here that I'm gonna be showing you guys, like, she gets owned by not only just Pierce, but by his guests as well. Take a look.
Votes.
Ava, your mouth seems to have dropped
No,
about
do you know what
I
it's
know.
sort of like?
I
No,
know.
it's just sort of a bit galaxy brain. I feel like, you know, the stats that you're putting down are perhaps correct in some universe.
Which stats?
They just kind of don't really add up. I mean, just to take you back to the to the women's writings that you've allegedly read. I mean, at
allegedly.
The time, well,
what do you mean allegedly?
At the time that you're talking about, you know, women weren't really allowed to write. They weren't allowed to go to school.
Yes, they were.
Write.
Yes, they were. That's incorrect. The first
Okay,
female
what year are we
property. The
talking
first
about?
female property owner was in the 1600s. The idea that women couldn't work and couldn't.
I'm so sorry, but that will be inherited.
No,
Now, hold on. I'm allowed.
No. The first female millionaire was in the late 1800s.
And was that inherited?
No, it was.
Pearl's saying, you know, the first female property owner was back in the the 16th century or 18th century, right? The lady said, well, was that by inheritance? Because what Pearl doesn't understand is this lady is basically trying to tell her, like, look, although what you're saying you may believe, but you have to look at what was going on back then. Women didn't have rights. So therefore, a woman owning property in any sort of way, shape, or form, she couldn't, because it was against the law. So the only way that she could own land is if her husband died, or left her that because maybe they had kids, and I don't want to get into it, but let's get into it. A lot of white women who had slave owner husbands, if their husband died, therefore she would inherit not only the land, but also the slaves as well. So with that being said, it's like, how don't you know this, Pearl? Like, I'm pretty sure you took American history when you was in school. I'm pretty sure, when you were in college, you took some more history classes, and I'm pretty sure that they went over all of this. And for you not to know any of this information is a little scary, because I don't know what book she's reading all of her information from, but I would possibly say that it's false of what she's hearing or reading, I would say. So we're gonna continue this. me get my levels right. It's probably good. All right, here we go.
And it was self-made.
It
She was.
wasn't.
No, yes, it was.
Self-made.
Yes, it
And
was.
she never
was
inherited
just.
land.
Yes, she did not
And what law
inherit it.
permitted that?
What?
What law permitted that?
Well, there was no law. I mean, there's always been
Okay,
women that
anyway.
were influential in
let's
history.
let's get on to the vote. So what I don't
Okay. Now, basically, what they're about to get into, Pearl always talks about how women shouldn't vote. Basically, stating that she wants to go back to when you had to own property, land. You had to have some sort of skill that bettered the community and society to where you could have a vote. What she feels as though women don't have. So I didn't have that as a talking point because you can go to her channel and she's basically spitting that rhetoric almost every podcast. So I did start here because I believe this is the part where she gets burned, if not if it's the next one. So let's get into it.
Don't equate for. I don't think men or women are equal until we do the equal work. Listen. Go apply to be on the oil rigs. Go be a plumber. Go be an electrician. Go.
Do you see her mannerism? As if she knows what the fuck she's talking about. Now listen. If she wants women to be equal to men, as all as feminists feels as though that they're just as equal to men themselves, but she's talking against exactly what she's basically agreeing with is what's going on right now. So she's basically saying that if women want to be equal, go and do the hard job, such as an oil rig, or my homeboys, they get harnessed in so they can do electrical work for for tall for skyscrapers. They have to get harnessed in and everything, and make sure that they got their stuff secure and everything, so they can go down these big ass holes and connect wire all day, basically. So basically, she wants women to do that, and whatever other hard job there is, like coal mining and stuff like that, and basically hard jobs, like hard ass jobs. And I feel as though within the dominant society, women don't have to do those jobs because there are enough men to do those jobs. There are enough men with enough sense to know I shouldn't, be putting a woman in this sort of predicament, because I feel as though that if a woman wants equal pay and equal rights and stuff like that, then they should do this hard job that I'm doing as well. And it's like, well, where does the femininity go after that? If you allow these women to do these manly jobs and stuff like that, and it's like, where does their femininity go? I don't know why my camera's skipping all over the place like that. I had the same issue last week. Maybe I can fix it. Hopefully I can fix it. But my camera might go down. So let me do this. Alright. So yeah, like I said, my camera is down, but it's coming back in right now. So I don't know. Like oh shit. So I don't know what the hell Pearl is basically trying to get off. I don't know if she's trying to make a mockery of feminists. I'm saying feminists should be mocked, but when you're not even in the predicament, and that's not good as well. So I might have to switch it again. All right. Like, she shouldn't even be talking for the simple fact that she's making no sense whatsoever. She's making entirely no sense because she feels as though that if these women feel the way that they do, then why aren't they doing the hard jobs that these men are doing? And it's like you know how many laws women have where they can't be harmed, where now, in certain circumstances they can get equal pay at their jobs uh, with men. And it's like, where's she getting her information from? Like, that's the main thing I was saying to myself the whole time when I was watching this clip, because it's only a 10-minute clip, and it's like the whole time she was on here, and I don't know why her manager's booking her these shows where she's spewing her rhetoric, because certain people have an issue with people in the manosphere. She's a part of the manosphere. Sorry, hold on. I gotta get this back up. She's a part of the manosphere, and have for her to be making these points as if she's an Andrew Tate or somebody, or whoever the hell she feels that she is. I will say this. She's saying all this stuff, but she has nothing to back it up. She's only saying, well, this, and that, but then when challenged, she doesn't have anything to back it up, or she'll say, "Oh, well, that's a disingenuous question," or she'll say, "Can we move on because I don't know?" And it's like, well, you're the one saying this stuff. How's it that you don't know exactly what the hell you're talking about? Like, it's crazy. It's crazy because how are you not understanding what you're saying, and you're trying to make people understand what you're saying? And she always brings up Thomas Sowell, and it's like, well, she normally brings Thomas Sowell up when it comes to her talking to, I guess, another black person or whatever. And it's like, lady, do you know how many black people don't read a Thomas Sowell book or books, or listen to his interviews on YouTube? Like I've listened to Thomas Sowell, and he doesn't impress me like everyone else is impressed with him. Not impressed with him because he basically is selling the same narrative as like a Jesse Lee Peterson, or what's her name, a Candace Owens, or a Brandon Tatum. Like, he's like, these people spew the same talking points as Thomas Sowell does, and it's like, what he's saying is nothing new. So it's like, because it was people when Thomas Sowell was coming up back in the 60s, 70s, that were saying the same damn thing, the same, which people will call black sellouts, like they were saying the same thing that Thomas Sowell was saying. So it's like when you've seen that so many times, it's like he doesn't really impress me. Like I believe Thomas Sowell has passed away, so may his soul rest in peace. But it's like for these people to come up here and to basically just spew rhetoric all damn day, like it's crazy. It's crazy to me. Um, 1 second again. Hold on. This is something. We gotta keep it stopped from skipping. But yeah, I feel as though like Shorty don't be knowing what the hell she be talking about. But I'll let her continue. So this is everybody brace yourself because she's about to get burned.
On the front lines of the military, and then we should have equal rights. But until feminists are willing to do that, I don't believe we should have the freedom without the responsibility.
Okay, but I don't think that I'm physically built for that. You might be, but I'm absolutely not.
But
you said you were a volleyball.
Wow.
You said you were a volleyball player, and so you've got more strength than I do. I don't think.
But
that
I don't have more strength. I don't have more
strength
strength than the average man.
I'm not going to take your right away.
I don't have more strength than the average man. But again, it goes back to go be a plumber. You want to be equal, go.
Pearl, you are the average man, all right? Just saying, like, you're built like one. Seen how Pearly things is built. Yeah, she's built kind of odd, but I'm just saying.
Bruh.
Anyway, let's continue. I'm already over. 434 to 416 is what we're coming up on.
So you want divorce to be made illegal?
Yes.
Why?
Yes, because I don't think what we have today is really marriage. What is marriage? It's for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health, till death do us part. That's what marriage is supposed to be. But feminists have ruined marriage for the people that actually believe in marriage.
How?
When there's a 50% divorce rate and the average marriage
Why is that all down to the women, though?
I didn't say that it was all down to the...
Yeah, like how Pearl says if a woman's getting beat in her relationship, especially in her marriage, that she should stay. It's like, what? Are you fucking crazy? Look, take it from me. When I was in my 20s, in one of my relationships, I had a problem with my hands. Looking back on that, had I would have continued that, and had we would have still been there, I would be in jail right now. I would really be in jail. Because at a certain point, a motherfucker who probably doesn't have all of his screws tightened, you will probably perceive that as, this is my woman submitting to me. That's what most men who do that think, that, oh, well, this is my woman submitting to me. It's like, no, doofus, not. So, with that being said, I personally saw myself having that issue, and I completely stopped. I was like, you know what? I don't know why I'm doing this. Like, I'm getting upset, and then, by you not hearing me, I'm now using my hands, but it's like, I could just use my words. You don't have to listen. So, I can always walk away. You can always walk away. So it's like, for Pearl to say that a woman should stay in her marriage if she's being beaten down and she's being, disrespected in any sort of way, that she should stay. And that's completely odd to me, because, like, Who the fuck thinks like that? So you rather a woman die, basically, is what's gonna happen. You rather the woman to die than to leave, leave, leave with her morals, leave with her her dignity, but you rather her stay so she can continue being beaten down, not just physically but mentally as well. And then she feels less of herself. Then you get to call her a whale because that's what happens as well. A woman starts to gain weight because she doesn't think anything of herself anymore, because not only has the man that she fell in love with let her down, her family let her down by allowing her to even go through it, and all society has let her down because she feels as though that, well, I thought if this happened to me or any woman that the man will be removed out of my life, and then I get to heal and move on. But by Pearl's standard, it's persevere. Bitches, you crazy. But check this out.
Women.
Why
Well, you want divorce to be banned.
Yeah.
Can I finish
Yeah.
first? So I'm saying, the people that believe in divorce, go be in long-term relationships. Leave marriage for the people that actually believe in for better or for worse, for richer or for poor, in sickness and in health, till death do us part.
But doesn't the sanctity of marriage also rely on the woman being a virgin? So you wouldn't be able to get married.
Well,
you've spoken quite openly about how you're...
Ooh, where is it? I need it. Oh my God. We need to run that back. Check out what she said.
You wouldn't be able to get married.
Wait a minute.
For better?
The sanctity of marriage also rely on the woman being a virgin, so you wouldn't be able to get married.
This is the way.
Dirty, dirty, dirty. That was dirty. That was dirty. Did y'all hear what she said? The lady said, I'll just say it just in case y'all didn't hear it. She said that in order for you to want what you're preaching, you would have to be a virgin as well. But you're not. So how's it that you can just come up here, spew your rhetoric, and have us believe you in what you're saying, but you have no, like, you're literally the person that you're speaking of. Like, you're literally the person that you're telling that can't get married. Because you would have to be a virgin in order to enjoy the purity of marriage, but you're not the pure person that you're speaking of not needing, but you're not the pure person of which you're speaking on. Like, you're not pure, you're not a virgin, your cherry has been popped. So by you saying that a man should want a pure woman, but you're not able as a pure woman, you're pure in mentality and in spirit, but in the body of it all, you're not. So basically, you want a man to accept you the way that you are, but you don't want a man, I'm sorry, you don't want a woman to accept someone of who they are, as far as like someone, who's abusive and stuff like that. You don't want the woman to not accept who the man is. I hope I said that right. Or you want the woman to accept who the man is, of who he is, but when it comes to the woman, she has to be as pure as possible. But Pearl, you're missing one thing. Nobody's pure in this day and age, unless they had very strict parents. They had and they grasp onto their religious beliefs hard, and they are pure at heart as well. Like, the one thing that they want is to be married, and the one thing that they strive for is to be married, have a family, and go on in society with the person that they fell in love with and married, so that they can whatever, right? But that's her talking her shit that she feels as though it's truth, and it should be no other way. But I'm gonna allow you guys to hear exactly the bullshit of what she's speaking.
What do you mean?
Well, you've spoken quite openly about how you're not a virgin, and so if you want to preserve that sanctity of marriage, then I just think that you're upholding standards that you don't actually live by.
Did you see Piers Morgan's face? Let's see if I can get that. Check out Piers Morgan's face. Because, Piers Morgan does all research about the people he's bringing on before they come on. So, him to be having that face because he's listened to every damn word that Pearl has said, I guess within however long of a span that it would take for him to prepare for a guest like Pearl. Probably wouldn't take long. Probably only take like maybe 30 minutes. But for him to prepare and study his guests so he can ask the questions that he's going to ask, and she makes her bold statements and then gets owned by the feminist guest, and then Pierce is making this face, lets us know that Pearl doesn't know a tad of what the fuck she's talking about. All right, so here's the last part of this, and here we go.
The man you want to get married to, are you saying you will be with that man whatever happens the rest of your life?
Yes, for the vows that we're supposed to live by.
How do you know you can keep them?
I mean, I think it's a choice. And that's the thing, like, women are so willing to leave marriage.
Okay, hold on, I'm gonna let her finish.
Because they're not happy. This is not about happiness.
Okay, Pearl, you're saying that women have the choice to leave because they're not happy. Okay, so you much rather a woman, and I will reiterate myself, you much rather a woman persevere and endure bullshit that's happening within the relationship. And this just isn't just for women, me saying this. You would much rather not only just a woman, but a man to persevere and endure the bullshit that's going on in their marriage, to the point of what? Someone getting killed by someone in the relationship because they can't control themselves physically and verbally and mentally. Or, because come on now, the the top reason that there are divorce is because of financial. Is financial reasons. Second is because the sex is whack. But you know, what are the other things? Is someone in a relationship that has substance abuse, is that an issue? Is someone cheating in a relationship, is that something or is that something or a reason why somebody leaves a relationship for? Or is it that they're just not compatible with each other? They don't mesh well. There's a lot of factors in this of why not just women but men file for divorce in their relationships. And I feel as though that is sad because this girl's only 26 years old, 26, 27 years old, and she's trying to be a beacon of hope for young men, and she's basically running them the wrong way. She's basically doing exactly the opposite of what she's trying to do. She's trying to uplift, and she's trying to, put a man's best foot forward so he can be successful in life and in a relationship. But what's really happening here is that she's basically putting these men down. Like, she doesn't have a clue in the world. She doesn't have life experience at all. No life experience to get. Look, how you gonna give relationship advice if you're not in a relationship, and B, a successful one, and C, married? Like, how are you giving this relationship advice because you looked at somebody else's relationship, i.e., your parents or grandparents or aunts and uncles or people around you that you know? It's like you need a better measuring stick, such as your own personal relationship. But she's a young girl. She's young and stupid, so she doesn't know that she needs this type of toolkit in order to be able to give this sort of information and advice, and she doesn't have the proper tools. It's like if she was a plumber, you would be basically having to call another plumber after she gets done her job, because she would have destroyed not only your toilet or your sink, but she probably, after she's done, would flood your fucking bathroom. So it's like, Pearl, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, so just chill.
Most important thing is the children. And the problem is we have a modern society where it's me, my feelings, leave when I feel like it, instead of doing what's best for the kids.
Ava, I've got to say, it's a little bit listening to Andrew Tate, where some of it I really don't agree with. I don't agree with the vote stuff. When I hear things like that, I think there'll be a lot of people, especially older generation women perhaps, who think, you know what, she's got a point.
Well, I mean, I believe in agency, so I think that if a woman is going to look after her children with divorce, that's absolutely fine. I also believe in your right to speak your mind about it. What I don't understand,
I'd like to say, even before the 1920s,
do you know what I mean?
women could speak openly. This idea that like women couldn't talk the last 500 years, there have been women throughout history.
The American state education system has failed before, and it's failing now.
There have been women throughout history that have read, written, and been very influential in society.
Okay.
So this idea like women could never do it.
Do you know what I don't understand?
You know what she yet cited a source? Like, who's like named an influential woman back, and she named a date, the 1920s, So name an influential woman from the 1920s. That's all she got to do. That's all she has to do. Just say influential women from the 1920s, such as, and name either one name or several names, and be like, and list off why they're influential. Madam C.J. Walker, she's significant because she created the hot cone. So, basically, people could not just get their hair done at the salon or at the barbershop, they could do it at home now. So that's the reason why she invented the hot cone. Or, I don't know, what's another significant woman from yesteryear? I don't know. Let's continue.
And though is when it gets spiteful, okay? Because you put down a few arguments that I think are perfectly, they're kind of evangelical and they're Christian, but those are your right to say it. What I don't understand is when it kind of seeps into this sort of, you call women fat, you say that they shouldn't have abortions, you say that they have STDs.
The question is, are they fat? Yes or no? The average American woman is 170 pounds. That's objectively overweight.
Okay. So she got a shot. So what we learned here today about Pearly things and her rhetoric is she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. Now she calls. Now I'm pretty sure what she was about to talk about was women being overweight. Like the average American weight is 100. Average woman's average American woman's weight is 170 pounds, right? That's what she said. So to her, that a woman that size is a whale, right? So she'll probably call some of the Instagram models that are out there who probably are over 170, some of them, not all. She will probably say that those women are whales because they have big hips, big thighs, big asses, big titties, and she will probably call them whales because their bodies evenly proportioned. Well, some of them get work, if not all of them. But for the natural ones, they're all aesthetically, they're proportioned. So Pearl being, let's say she weighs all of 120 some odd pounds, but if you look at her in a bikini, you would be like, oh, well, she looks like she's slightly overweight for her size. I don't know how tall Pearl is. I think Pearl's 6 foot even, if not 6'2". So it's like she's a tall girl. You know, she plays sports, so she has a athletic build, which not a lot of body fat. Which it's like for you to say that about women, and not only are you trying to get women to understand what the hell's going on here in society, you're not doing a good job at it. So it's like, why is this girl even popular? Now, from what I understand, from what I've been told, that Pearly isn't really doing good when it comes to her numbers. I believe all of her numbers come from I believe all her numbers are coming from her shorts. So I believe her podcasts aren't really doing all that well as far as what I know. So let's see. Let's take a look. So she has 1.56 subscribers. And where's some recent material at? Okay, so bring this up. All right, so her last video, which was 10 hours ago, has gotten 12K views. All right, her Piers Morgan interview has gotten 27K views. So I guess her uploaded stuff, or her last recent uploaded video, which is here, has gotten 7.1K views. Her Adam 22 video has gotten 78K views. Let me blow this up. And okay, well, I was wrong then, and whoever told me that information should get their neck wrung the fuck out. But okay, so she's doing numbers, but I talked about shorts, so let's look at her shorts. So okay, she's doing okay in the shorts category. Her just from the top videos here, this one right here, the divorce should be banned. Divorce should be banned. Has gotten 35K views. So, and then the other one after that is Pearl's experience on Piers Morgan, 81K views. And then she chopped up, her interview. And okay, I'm a little judgmental, but her interview wasn't bad, but at the same time, it wasn't good. So for herself to be patting herself on the back as if she did anything or did something, come on now, like you basically just made yourself look stupid. But Pearl's gonna be Pearl, so there's no more that I can say to that. So that has been the small banter portion. It did run a little long, but whatever. But let's get into today's main topic, and that is cocaine found at the White House. So if you guys don't know or have been living underneath of a rock, cocaine has been found in the White House. And my whole thing is, isn't it the White House? Like, there's been substance abuse in the White House for years. All right, for years. Anyway, the stuff found that was found by the Secret Service. They took it for testing, and it came out that it was cocaine. So, with that being said, let's get into this next video. Before I continue, all videos and articles that I will be presenting to you guys tonight are credited in the description box below. I do not own any of these videos or any of the articles, and with the articles, they have been altered from its original form, so I don't get people don't come at me for plagiarism. So yeah, but let's continue.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us this Wednesday night. I'm Jerika Duncan in for Nora. We begin with the Secret Service leading an investigation into who brought cocaine into the White House. The surprising discovery of a bag of suspicious white powder initially caused a panic, leading to the temporary closure of the building on Sunday. The illegal drug was found near a visitor's entrance for those taking a tour of the West Wing. Today, lab tests came back positive for cocaine. President Biden and the First Family were at Camp David at the time. CBS's Weijia Jiang starts us off tonight from the White House with more. Weijia, good evening.
Good evening, Jerika. Tonight, the White House is very important to President Biden to get to the bottom of who brought that illegal drug inside. But officials caution this could be a challenging investigation. Tonight, the leading theory is that someone on a White House tour may have left a small bag of cocaine in the West Wing, according to senior law enforcement officials. The discovery Sunday put the White House on temporary lockdown until the substance was deemed not a threat. The bag was discovered ground floor in a common area near the entry to the West Wing, not far from the Situation Room. It was close to a set of storage cubbies where visitors leave their cell phones during a tour. The Secret Service is leading the investigation, looking at visitor logs and camera surveillance.
There are camera systems that they'll go back as a part of this investigation and research. Not every camera is trained on everybody at every minute. So there's always going to be a possibility that this could go unanswered.
White House visitors undergo background checks and go through magnetometers on site. But the Secret Service does not have canine units that target illegal drugs. Instead, the dogs search for
but they will now. I'm pretty sure they'll call local law enforcement to help them not only getting, but helping to train drug sniffing dogs at this point on, because if they've never thought about that, like people bringing drugs into the White House, it's like, what the hell are y'all doing? Like, y'all should already know that these people coming as tourists back and forth using the restrooms and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure they go through an extensive search before going. All the tourists coming into the White House to take the White House tour. I'm pretty sure they go through metal detectors. I'm pretty sure they have the systems where they put you. Well, it's all over at DC. When you go into like the museums and stuff, you gotta basically take your whole life out your pocket and put it in one of them bins so they can send it through, so they can look at it to see if anything's up with any of the items that you have. And my whole thing is, I'm pretty sure they have TSA level security in there, so I'm pretty sure you're walking through a metal detector that also has an x-ray that can see what the fuck you got on you, and somehow this cocaine got inside. So what most news reporters are saying is that it has to be some sort of high level personnel that got that through, and or a family member of the Biden crime family. But let's keep going.
Explosives, biohazardous materials, and weapons. This episode on the fact that you can bring in illegal substances into the White House. So what's preventing a visitor from bringing in anthrax or something that's not magnetic?
And totally understand the question, but it is under investigation. So we're going to let the Secret Service do their job. I'm just not going to get ahead of if or whens or changes.
Senator Tom Cotton, a Republican from Arkansas, sent a letter to the director of the Secret Service to say that Congress needs to know if the White House complex is not secure. And he asked for a plan to correct any security flaws. Jerika?
We did Jang at the White House. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Jerika. And I forgot the lovely Asian lady's name, but let's get into today's article. So I got this article from USA Today, and I believe the real title is in the description box underneath of the credited articles section. But the title that I put on here was "Cocaine Found in the West Wing of the White House." So the White House was temporarily closed Sunday evening after Secret Service agents discovered a white powder suspected to be cocaine inside a work area in the West Wing. The Secret Service said in a statement that the White House was closed to allow members of law enforcement to investigate, and that the District of Columbia Fire Department helped evacuate the substance, or evaluate the substance. The fire department quickly determined the item to be non-hazardous after an initial evaluation. A spokesperson for the Secret Service said, A fire department and emergency medical services field test Sunday evening identified a yellow bar, meaning cocaine or hydrochloride, after a dispatch at 8:49 p.m. Wait a minute, there's visitors after 5 in the White House. But anyway, let's keep going. 8:49 p.m. According to a publicly available encrypted call recording. Earlier in the evening, District of Columbia fire and EMS crews were sent to 17th Street, which borders the White House. Neither call, however, mentioned the White House. Members of the public who tour the White House usually are allowed to visit the East Wing and residence. East Wing and residence. Okay, tour members are typically not permitted to visit the West Wing, which is where the president, vice president, and other senior administration officials have their offices. The substance will be tested further, according to the Secret Service. The item was sent for further evaluation, and an investigation into the cause and manner of how it entered the White House is pending. Anthony G. I'm just going to say Anthony G because I'm not about to butcher his name. Anthony G., Chief of Communications for the Secret Service, said in a statement, when the substance was discovered, President Joe Biden and his family were away from the White House. Biden departed from Camp David on Friday evening and did not return to the White House until Tuesday morning. Anthony G. said in the statement that the White House complex went into a precautionary closure as officers investigated the substance. The White House did not immediately respond to a request for comment. So, what they're saying is that this very substance that was found possibly could be Hunter Biden's, because Hunter Biden and the family were at the White House. I think a couple days or so before they departed to go on, I guess, holiday vacation, and Hunter Biden was there with his daughter. I think it's his 3-year-old daughter, and basically, doing the whole presidential family thing, like, meeting with the family, talking, blah, blah, blah. In the video, you see Hunter go off and you see him go somewhere and, never to be seen again. But, with that being said, how about we get into this video to see exactly what the hell's going on?
In a stunning turn of events, a suspicious white powder was discovered at the House Library, leading to a swift evacuation and a full-scale investigation by the Secret Service. The powder, which was later confirmed to be cocaine, has raised eyebrows and sparked intense speculation. According to a Secret Service spokesperson, investigators have now determined how this illicit substance made its way into the White House. Although additional testing is still underway to determine its exact nature, authorities have assured the public that the substance does not pose a threat. Interestingly, the room where the cocaine was found has a surprising connection to Hunter Biden, son of President Joe Biden. Reports have emerged suggesting that the discovery occurred in the very same room where Hunter Biden frequently used his laptop. This startling coincidence has only intensified the intrigue surrounding the incident. Despite President Biden not being present during the incident, the security alert triggered a prompt evacuation and heightened concerns. However, details regarding the exact location of the discovery and the packaging of the substance have been withheld by the Secret Service representative. According to the Washington Post, an audio recording captured by a firefighter from the hazardous materials team revealed a communication from a DC fire unit. The message, time-stamped at 8:49 p.m., reportedly mentioned the presence of cocaine hydrochloride. Although the exact quantity has not been disclosed, authorities have described it as modest. As the investigation continues, the public eagerly awaits further updates on this sensational case that has drawn attention to the White House and its connection to Hunter Biden's controversial past. Stay tuned for more developments as the story unfolds.
All right. Well, I would say it's Titans because it's like, come on now, how you gonna not? This man's on trial for tax shit. They basically are looking over the drug shit. Like, homie basically was filmed himself smoke crack not once, not twice, but several times over.
What the fuck was that?
Now, I would say this. If Hunter's out there getting high, which we know he's getting high, if he out there getting high, why bring a modest amount, which is basically personal use? Why are you bringing that shit in the White House? Keep that shit in your car, dog. Like, it ain't like the Secret Service is rummaging through your fucking car to see if you have illicit substances, which they should, because you know they already know that you're doing drugs. So why not check his why not check his personal belongings coming in and out of the White House? But you know, just gonna throw that shit under the rug because I guess respect for the president. Man, fuck out of here. But anyway, but we all know that this man does cocaine, crack cocaine at that. He probably snorts as well. But this dude was seen on camera several times smoking crack. It's one video, if not a picture, of this dude doing what, 178, 172, between 172 to 178 miles per hour while smoking crack. Like, I don't know what the hell you guys like. Like, what do you guys want?
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
Like, he's probably going through the motions right now. Like, are they gonna pin this on me? And it's like, the fuck you think? Anyway, let's get into this this article. I forgot where I got this article from, but it's in the description box below. Fox News, I got it from, I believe I got it from Fox News, but it's in the description box below. Fox News made efforts Wednesday to connect the cocaine found at the White House on Sunday to Hunter Biden's family visit 2 days later for the July 4th celebration. In a video opening a Fox and Friends segment, which you can watch above, President's son, Hunter Biden, is shown during the visit holiday visit holding his 3-year-old daughter, which his adult age daughter and First Lady Jill Biden nearby. Hunter Biden joining the first family on the White House balcony for the 4th of July fireworks show. A Secret Service agents investigate suspected cocaine that was found in the West Wing. Fox News host uh, Kaylee Mc. I don't know how to say this lady's name. So Kaylee says so. Kaylee then turned to Fox News correspondent Mark Meredith, who reported from the White House lawn on the Hunter Biden visit, as well as the details surrounding the cocaine that was found Sunday in the West Wing. Cameras spotted the first family there, including the First Lady and first son, Hunter Biden, there in the audience. Meredith said over a video of Hunter Biden holding his young daughter while embracing Jill Biden as President Biden. President Biden looked on. Below, a segment headline read, Hunter visits White House after possible cocaine found, echoed in the segment's YouTube headline. Hunter Biden spotted at White House after possible cocaine found in West Wing. But it appears these drugs were discovered on Sunday while the president was away. Meredith clarified, breaking down the news that broke Tuesday. But Fox and Friends wasn't done trying to imply a correlation to Hunter Biden, who has for years drawn headlines for his struggles with substance abuse and addiction, as well as other legal problems. Most recently, his agreeing to a plea deal, which he'll probably walk from, a plea deal on federal tax evasion charges. But if you look at the internet and you look at social media, there are all sorts of memes and there are all sorts of rumors. Longtime show host Steve said several minutes into the segment, hoisting memes and rumor-based information as the new apparent Fox and Friends gold standard. Who has access to the White House? Who kind of looks like he's living at the White House? Oh yeah, Hunter Biden. Docky then sought to clarify there was no evidence of the correlation between bluntly stating that's just going on the internet. The rap has reached out to Fox News for comment on the Fox and Friends presentation of the White House cocaine news and Hunter Biden's visit. For its part, the White House took measures Wednesday to detail who could be at fault for the cocaine. The area where this was discovered is a heavily traveled area where many West Wing visitors, come through. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said, when it comes to visitors to the West Wing, they come for many reasons. We do have West Wing tours, Jean-Pierre said, adding there were tours that recently took place on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, pretty much daily except for federal holidays such as Tuesday. So basically what they're trying to get across is that they don't know whose Coke it is, but they're also trying to let us know that, you know, although that they don't know whose Coke it is, they want the investigators to investigate what they can find as the culprit of whom is who it belongs to. But I think we all know whose it could possibly be. If it's not Hunter's, it could possibly be Joe's. I'm just saying. But we don't know if that's true or not. I'm just making up rumors here. But when there's more to the story, I will, and I mean I will, go over this. All right. So that has been the main topic of today's show. Let's get into the random topics of the week portion. And the overview for the random topics of the week is, or are, SCOTUS ends affirmative action, and 600 jobs lost as boycott continues against Anheuser-Busch. All right, so affirmative action ruling shows how marginalized groups are co-opted, as told by the Seattle Times. So, we're going to get into this video and see what BBC has to or thinks about this. So, let's go.
The US Supreme Court has ruled universities cannot consider race and ethnicity in university admissions. Now, this judgment ends a decades-old practice of affirmative action. That means it's aimed at boosting education opportunities for African Americans and other minorities. Well, let's go straight to Washington now, and our correspondent Jessica Parker, who is there for us. And Jessica, just to explain exactly what this now means for university admissions in the States and why it's important.
So what the Supreme Court has done today is effectively banned the consideration of race or ethnicity as a factor amongst student hopefuls who are trying to get into university or college, as it's described here in the US. As you were saying, this is a long set precedent. It goes back more than 40 years. It's the kind of framework where universities couldn't set quotas, for example, on race, but they could take it into consideration. Now, two cases that argued that actually this was leading to discrimination against white students and Asian students, they brought those cases against the University of North Carolina and Harvard as well. And the judgment handed down today has handed them a victory. Now, it has split along expected dividing lines. The ruling was by 6 votes to 3, not a surprise given the conservative leaning of the court. And the reaction has likewise been quite predictable as well. You've had conservatives welcoming this decision. They say that it has been a practice of discrimination, but others more from the liberal side saying actually that this is, as far as they see it, something of a disaster, that they fear this will mean that underrepresented groups now have a harder time of trying to get into universities, particularly the extremely competitive ones.
Jessica.
All right. What the hell is going on now? All right. Okay, so the Supreme Court dealt a major blow to the use of race in college admissions Thursday, finally realizing a conservative goal decades in the making. But unlike the last major case on affirmative action in 2016 that centered on Gail Fisher, a white student in Texas, last week's ruling was purportedly a purportedly on behalf of Asian American students. The most recent case was brought by Students for Fair Admission, led by a white man, Edward Blum, who had filed dozens of lawsuits challenging affirmative action and voting rights laws. Blum also brought the Fisher case to the Supreme Court, where he narrowly lost 4-3, and at one point, baldly admitted he needed Asian plaintiffs to better his case in Washington, which barred the use of race in public university admissions in 2008. The court's decision will force private colleges and universities to navigate new terrain. As well, the use of Asian Americans to roll back rights and protections for other marginalized groups is not new, but seems to be increasingly popular. Locally, hold on, where am I at? Locally, the killing of pregnant Korean American owner Ina Kwan shocked and horrified, the whole community. Kwan, I think I skipped the whole line. Hold on. No, I did. Okay. Kwan and her baby died after she was shot in broad daylight in Belltown. Her husband was also injured, but just days after the shooting, her death was used to protest to advance hold on, a conservative-led tough on crime response to a tragedy that appears to be connected to untreated mental illness. The protest organizer, a Korean American Republican candidate for the state legislature, said in the Seattle Times that Kwan's death was a result of policies that legalize crime. Many of the efforts to rethink our criminal legal system are aimed at reducing the radical disproportionality that has left African Americans and Latinos incarcerated at higher rates. In Linwood, the Korean American owned Olympus Spa was at the center of a national controversy last month over access to public spaces that depict a trans woman's state human rights complaint over being denied access to the spa is a conflict being LGBTQ versus Korean American culture, traditions, and religious liberty. What all these cases have in common is an effort to pit one marginalized group against another to advance conservative goals. A familiar divide and conquer strategy. Asian Americans, U.S. Rep. Grace Meng of New York said of the Supreme Court ruling last week, "I am angry the Asian Americans are being used as pawns in this lawsuit and as a wedge between communities of color and will be treated as scapegoats under the false assumption we will benefit." Adding to the false assumptions of who will benefit is the flattening of what is one of the most diverse groups in the country into a monolith. Asian Americans have the widest wealth gap of any group, according to Pew, and have widely divergent political leanings, education, and social economic statuses. The truth is that while cases like last week's students for fair admission, SFFA, case aimed to frame the conversation as a zero-sum game with Asian on one side and Black and Latino students on the other. What often gets ignored is that affirmative action in the form of admissions for white students students is alive and well. A 2019 study, for example, that 43% of white American students admitted to Harvard were recruited athletes, legacy students, children of faculty, staff, or on the dean's interest list, applicants whose parents or relatives have donated to Harvard. NBC News reported only about 16% of Black, Latino, or Asian American students fell into these categories. To reject the racial wedge, many commentators have cited oft-used statistic from APIA Vote, which found that 70% of Asian American voters supported affirmative action. But a recent survey by Pew Research Center has more sobering data. While a narrowly 53% of Asian Americans who have heard of affirmative action say it is good, over 75% said that race or ethnicity should not factor into college admissions. Like most groups in our society, we as Asian Americans, or them as Asian Americans, I'm not Asian American, but anyway, we as Asian Americans, lost my place, still have a lot of work to recognize how our liberation and future are bound with other marginalized groups. Anti-blackness has also been an animated force in our country, driving beliefs about crime, education, and who is deserving of what. It would be disingenuous to say otherwise, whether we are being used as part of a cynical ploy or not. Americans can forcefully say, not in our name, to efforts to pit us against other people of color. In a dissent, Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, the first Latino on the Supreme Court, states, there is no question that Asian American community continues to struggle against potent and dehumanizing stereotypes in society, she wrote. It is preciously, hold on. It is precisely because racial discrimination persists in our society. However, that the use of race is in college admissions to racially diverse classes is critical to improving cross-racial understanding and breaking down racial stereotypes. Well, let's dive into this stuff. Is it really by the support getting rid of affirmative action in this magnitude by it being illegal to bring someone in to their school because of race, or is it damn, I forgot my whole frame of thought. Okay, so now it's illegal for admissions to the school to be race based now, but judging on what the article was saying, it basically was saying that most of the students getting in was by people who are legacies of the school. So basically someone who went to the school prior before their children, staff members, family members who donated to Harvard, so people who probably never went to Harvard, who just know because they like Harvard's mission of what they do for their their students. So it's like if we know that, if now known that these students are getting in that way, so when either a Latino American student or African American or an Asian American student come in, or sign up with their application to want to go to Harvard, they're being overlooked because of their race. Because as far as what I understand, the whole and most of the student body at Harvard, I would say a good amount, Harvard students were Asian. Then you sprinkle in some of the black folk, then you sprinkle in the white folk, and you probably have a little bit of Latino Americans as well. So it's like, was this person who went to go and fight this? Let me get the person's name. So the person brought up Abigail Fisher. We're talking about Edward Blum. So Edward Blum basically, I guess, filled out an application to go to Harvard, and he didn't get in because of his skin color. Because is there an attack on white in this country? Like, I don't. Maybe I'm ignorant to the fact because I don't believe this at all. Because to me, it's like, come on, like you have let's serious. If you weren't getting in to Harvard, there's other high Ivy Leagues up there. You have Yale. You can go to Yale. Yale's a good school. You also have Berkeley. What was it USC Berkeley? That's a nice school of what I hear. So it's like, okay, you didn't get in because, let's say, because you're a white male. So they overlook you in order to what? Get some more Asian American students in? Like, a lot of black people are upset at this because I'm a little upset at this as well. People are upset at this because they see the writing on the wall. What I mean by that is this. The writing on the wall is that this possibly is trickled down to the fact that not only will school admission by race won't be a thing anymore, but then is this going to trickle down to jobs? Like, is there going to be an issue to where people of color will be able to find jobs because there's no more affirmative action? So we're looking at performance and numbers. So you don't make the cut because, from what we can tell, your performance is a little off, not up to our standards, and what have you. Some people are saying, for the simple fact that affirmative action actually was a crutch for most marginalized groups. This is why I say this, of what I've heard. Because their whole thing is that you're putting somebody of color, let's just say black, because they use black, you're putting somebody black into a situation of where they don't have the academic prowess nor the work ethic to keep up with everyone else. And my whole thing was this. if you're just going off of skin color and you're thinking that this black who's going to this school is not up to the standard of all the other students because I don't know, maybe he doesn't study right when he gets back to dorm or when he goes to the library. Maybe he goofs off a lot. It's not the point of what he's doing. It's what he does when he executes his tasks. Now, if he's goofing off in school and he's basically fucking it all off because who knows, then I would say, okay, yeah, like you're hurting your chances by being successful. But if that's not the case, if Asian American student, Latino student, Latino and African American student, if they're all doing the same work at the same pace and they all still have the same work, it's like, how can you be like, well, they're not fit to be here because, you know, by their test scores and all, they don't do well. It's like, well, some people are test takers. Like, you have to look at that as well. Also, another thing you have to look at is this. A lot of people are looking at this when it comes to the HBCU realm of this, is that, well, if you can't make it at these institutions, you have your own to go to. But when it comes to private institutions, to HBCUs, the amount of funding that an HBCU gets compared to a Howard College next to Harvard University, they're not getting the same stipend or whatever. Like they're like a Harvard, of what we know, Harvard has money, like to where they don't even need the stipends that they get. To the point of when you look at a Howard, or let's say in university, or let's say, I don't know, let's say which Howard, a Morgan State University. Like these colleges, these black colleges, and if you don't believe me, just look at Deion Sanders' situation when he was at I forgot that Mississippi HBCU, but basically what was going on was that Deion Sanders, if not all of his check, and he would donate it back to the athletics, to football, to where they got a better practicing field, they got a better workout facility, they got better locker rooms. Because when he got a bunch of bullshit, he was like, well, wait a minute, well, where's this, where's that, like where's all of this at? And there was no, well, I know where it's at. It was none of that. It was, I don't know, to the point of that we then learned that the administration at a lot of these HBCUs, they're basically stealing money and nothing's happening to these people. So then we'll loop it back when it comes to a Harvard University with the whole, affirmative action thing of not being able to negate from race, whatever. Now we have to look, well, is this for the white students who want to go to prevail now, or is it just fair? Is it just a fairness thing? We see it as fair because of this reason. We see it as fair because of this. Or since it's no more of whatever, we can now be like this. And it's like, well, with that thought process, of affirmative action and for the college admission, then does this trickle down to these college students when they graduate? Will this affect them when trying to find a career, or trying to, or not trying to career, but trying to use their skills of what they learned in college to their career if they can get that job? Because you gotta remember, it's not like every year when a college student is trying to find a job after they graduate, it's not as if someone's retiring that same year that they're getting out. No, like some doctors have like 60 years underneath of their belt. Some do, not all. Well, that's a little too much. Let's say about 40, 45 years of experience under their belt. It's not as if a doctor who has that much experience is like, oh, well, I made enough money. I did it. I did what I needed to do. I'm gonna go ahead and retire. No, because if you love what you do and you thrive what you do every day, when it comes to your work, you're not gonna want to quit. You're gonna want to continue, probably until the day you die. So when it comes to these students, will this trickle down at the end of the day? Like, will this be a problem later? Because we don't know the effects of this five years down the road. Hell, when it comes to the Roe versus Wade situation of SCOTUS deeming that not a state issue, I mean not a federal issue anymore, will be an issue down the line? Because it's a lot of women who came out and was like, well, I don't like this one bit, like trying to take agency over my body and blah 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 blah. And now, since it's a state issue now, like a lot of states is like, well, like a lot of states like, well, it's not legal in this state to get an abortion now. So even if go cross state lines and we catch you, you can be locked up for going cross state lines to get an abortion and come back to the state. We don't know the ramifications yet of this. We don't know how this is going to look like within the next 5 to 10 years. The only thing we can do is wait and see what happens. So that ends that part of random topics. We will get into this last article of today. Got this from Fox News. It states that Bud Light bottling plants forced to shut down, leaving 600 employees jobless amid controversy. So if you guys don't know, that's what's been fucking with me. So if you guys don't know what's been going on with this whole like Dylan Mulvaney and the Bud Light thing and all of that, the boycott started once. Please come over. This whole thing started when Bud Light's marketing team brought Dylan Mulvaney, a transgender TikTok star who I guess has a large child following, I guess, like a teenage following. So basically what's been going on is that the right or far right has boycotted the company Anheuser-Busch because they felt as though this was a kick in the face because they bought their product all the time. Now they did this with this whole Dylan Mulvaney uh, gag or whatever that they started to boycott. So I've I've talked about this before, but it was in short. Um, I feel as though that I knew it was going to get this point, and the people who are boycotting didn't really think about the ramifications of what would happen with their boycott, and we're here now. So let's see exactly what's going on.
More than 600 employees losing their jobs this month due in part to the backlash surrounding Light. According to an internal message revealed by a local news outlet, two glass plants that make bottles for the beer giant are shutting down in July. Bud Light sales fell in May and into June after a nationwide boycott over the brand's partnership with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney. A glass plant in North Carolina to cut down bottle production. Now the plant's owner, the R-Dog Group, is closing that plant and in Louisiana, laying off 625 employees. A memo from the Wilson plant manager said the closing was due to slow sales with Anheuser-Busch InBev, its parent company, WRAL reported. Workers at the Wilson plant said the manager told employees during a recent meeting the boycott was forcing the shutdown. However, some employees don't blame the Bud Light boycott. They say the glass packaging industry itself is having problems, citing a drop in shipments and revenue started back in February before the beer controversy sparked in April. Back then, the media predicted that Bud Light would bounce back from the boycott, but so far wrong. Last week, we reported that Bud Light sales were at an all-time low, down 28% year over year. That's when the Anheuser-Busch InBev CEO said a sale would directly impact frontline workers. Now, R-Dog, one of the largest glass producers in the world, says it will be closing plants in the future. This is a story you won't find being covered by all media outlets. This is considered a media miss by the left, meaning left-leaning news outlets have largely ignored this story woes impacting this American business. You can see what stories are being left out of the news cycle on our website's media page. In a statement, Bud doubled down on its support for the LGBTQ+ community, but is expected to spend a record amount of money on marketing this summer to help quiet boycott and boost sales.
All right. So basically, people who have boycotted so much that people are now losing their jobs. But as far as what they think, casualties of war must happen. So, okay, let's get into this article. Our glass bottling company impacted by Bud botched promotion with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney will close down 2 of its locations, laying off 600 employees. As the beer brand continues to grapple with staggering financial losses and declining sales, the RDOF Group, a global glass producer who connects with the Anheuser-Busch Company, announced that they will be closing their plants in North Carolina and Louisiana in July, putting roughly 645 employees out of a job. WRAL reported the company reveal did not reveal the reason for the move, but an investigation by WRAL reportedly found that the plants are shutting down because of tanking Bud Light sales. As retailers, distributors, bars, and contracted companies feel the wrath of nationwide boycotts over the controversial Bud Light partnership, that celebrated Mulvaney's 365 days of girlhood, Workers at both bottling plants have reportedly noticed decreased production. Mulvaney's video announcing the collaboration on social media gained public attention in April. WRAL reported. A machine repair mechanic told the outlet that the drop in demand forced the Louisiana and North plants to put some of their machines offline, which he attributed to the Bud Light situation. An internal Ardolph Group memo obtained by WRAL executives said they plan to shut down the two plants due to slow sales with Anheuser InBev. Longtime employees told that they were not surprised by the move, considering that a large part of their business at those plants were producing bottles for Budweiser and Bud Light. Employees at the Wilson, North Carolina plant reportedly said their manager confirmed to them that they were shutting doors because of Bud Light's boycott, because Budweiser no longer selling the bottle. They no longer need our product. David Williams, a machine repair mechanic, told WRAL, Bud Light sales have since the beer maker gifted Mulvaney special cans in April to celebrate a full year of. A second video then featured Mulvaney in a bathtub drinking a Bud Light beer, promoting online outrage and nationwide boycotts that resulted in a sales decline that has yet to rebound. The brand has already lost billions of dollars in value and has taken several steps to alleviate the backlash, such as heavily discounted beer and offering rebates that make Bud Light basically free to the customers in some markets. The beer maker has also taken steps to help distribute, increased its marketing budget, launched a new summer ad campaign, and dispatched CEO Brendan Whitworth to appear on CBS mornings to provide clarity on the now infamous debacle. But despite their best efforts, the backlash against the Bud Light brand seems to be lingering as sales of the beer continue to slide. Bud Light sales were down 24.4% compared to a year ago from the week ending June 3rd. I'm not even going to try to say this. Anyway, data provided to Fox Business by Bump Williams Consulting shows Modelo Especial passes Bud as the number one selling beer brand on a dollar basis for the fourth week and single week period ending June 3rd. Mulvaney recently ripped the controversy against Bud Light, claiming it's promoted more bullying and more transphobia than I could ever imagine. Transgender influencer also blasted the company for not being supportive as Mulvaney dealt with transphobia. Now, let's talk about this because I knew that this was going to happen. I knew the more and more people whined and complained and wasn't trying to talk about this, and simply, to be honest, a silent boycott will basically suffice. It's like you making it out to where you have to basically be basically loud. Let's just say loud. You're basically being loud to the fact of, we don't like this here anymore because you let this lady boy promote the product and blah 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 blah. And it's like, check this. I knew personally that something like this was going to happen. Now, when it comes to a product, right? You always have employees behind that. So, it comes to the labeling, the bottles, the brewing of the beer. It's not like it's just machines itself. It's people manning those machines, and it's people, um, making sure, all checks and balances with the machines are doing what they're supposed to do. So, me seeing almost every month that the stock started to tank, and no one really trying to figure out what could happen and what they could do to alleviate all of this. And my whole thing was, it's gonna get to the point to where they're gonna start firing people. We had a couple of the distributor guys who actually, go to various bars, sporting stadiums, and liquor stores, who bring the product to these businesses to sell the product. So they have a job, who label the bottles, or I'm sorry, who work at the plants, who where the beer gets put into the bottles. Then you got labeling, you know, those people, and then you got the people who actually make the bottles for it. 'Cause, it's just not glass bottles that they do. They also do aluminum bottles, aluminum cans, and have you can go and get a keg of Bud Light or whatever. So my whole thing was, I'm watching these various new alternative news outlets talk about, we're winning the culture war because, Anheuser-Busch is down blah, blah, blah percent in their stocks. And it's like, I hope people are connected to those stocks. So now that 645 people are now to lose their jobs, not from just one plant, but two, they're looking at it as, oh, it's just a casualty at war, because we're on a culture war right now because we're trying to win this country back. And it's like, but at what cost? Like some of the people that you're getting laid off, they also believe the same thing that you. So not only are you putting down your fellow man that also wants the same thing you want, that wants to see the same thing that you want to see as well, so stifling them by having them lose their job. So, now it's it's like, what are they gonna say now? Like, what are they gonna say about themselves now? Like, what is it all gonna be about after these people lose their job, which is gonna be soon? So you got to look at everything that they have to endure. Well, they don't have money to pay their mortgage. They don't have money to, depending on how long they've been. Let's look at the people who were looking at retiring either later this year, if not next year. Now these people have to not only take their 401k, if they can still retire this year, but they'll have to take early retirement, which they're probably not ready for. So it's like, at what cost? At what cost is all of this worth? Like, is it that much worth it to where you're willing to have your fellow man that you look at as your brother, who wants the same thing you want, who sees the culture war for what it is, but you're looking at this as, well, they knew the stakes, they knew what they were up against, they should have been trying to find a new job. It's like, who the fuck after 30 years on a job wants to start over? Like, people's pensions are connected to your foolishness. People's retirement, which is at jeopardy now, they probably can't retire now because they have to find a new job. Not only that, they have to, try to pick up the pieces because, they've had everything in their life tied to this one job. So now they have to come out of that trance, because everyone's in a trance when they're at a job. This is where I make my money. This is how I make my money. I don't want anybody to stifle me from getting my, not getting my money. Then we run into this. Now, what I say that Bud Light is also at fault? Yes, they are, because they didn't realize the monster that they were up against. Like, people are already on edge when it comes to these, anybody in the LGBTQ community in a whole, but also you gotta look at it like this as well. With these people who are overzealous, that's just how I think. They're overzealous because they couldn't handle a man who was in a dress, which now became their villain. They can't handle a man in their dress who's going through girlhood. Like, are you fucking crazy? Like, I don't understand in any form, shape, or fashion how you can look at Bud Light doing a campaign, a stupid campaign at that, but doing this campaign and then thinking to yourself, you know what? I'm gonna boycott this beer brand. Because there's other beers, the Anheuser-Busch, umbrella. You got Budweiser, Bud Light Lime. You got Busch Beer, possibly Natty Ice or Natural Ice. Like, it's all these beers that's underneath of this one brand. It's like, did they fuck up in one area? Yes, they did. Could they alleviate what happened by an apology or something like that? I guess that's all the left wanted, was an apology from the CEO. Like, we're sorry about all this. We're trying to fix it, make it right with you guys. But they kept. But you got to remember, there's money tied up in this shit. Like, not only are they paying Dylan Mulvaney to advertise this shit, which advertisement dollars is behind this, which is possibly millions of fucking dollars behind that. For them to pull that money away from this campaign, of which they could have, but they probably could have been looking at lawsuits. They probably could have been looking at all kinds of shit. You know what I'm saying? Because you're putting people in the entertainment space out of work as well. So now the people in the entertainment space, if this would have happened, if they would have did this by just allowing themselves to take it on the chin, like we're sorry, like this won't happen again. Um, we're sorry about what we did, and we want to make this right with our customers, and whatever, right? So let's say that would have happened. So then people from, which they probably don't need money anyway, to whatever company that they were using for advertisement, like you gotta look at, these people will be out of a job. Then will the people who then bottle, make labels, make the glass for it, whatever, people who distribute it, the truck drivers and stuff like that, will these people then have a better life now? Because, they cut the advertisement for this, they're no longer running that campaign, they're back to, and they've tried to make it, although they didn't come up with a verbal apology, I think, they've been apologizing through act, like they've cut I guess they cut the entire campaign of Dylan Mulvaney and all that, and Dylan Mulvaney came out and said how disgusted he is by this, which it's like to me, it's like I didn't feel any type of way because I don't drink Budweiser. I don't drink Budweiser. I'm not a fan of American beers other than one, and I showed that one on my show when I talked about, and I only talked about it for probably about like 5 minutes. I basically said that my beer of choice that I like to drink is called Lion's Head. It's a double pilsner, and it's made somewhere in Pennsylvania, and that's the beer. That's the only American beer that I like to drink. So if I'm over somebody's house and all they have is Coors Light, okay, I'll drink Coors, unless I'll say, well, let me run to the liquor store so I can have a beer that I like to drink, so you can enjoy the beer you like to drink. So with that being said, it's like, why is it? Why did the right make it such an issue? All they had to do was not drink the beer anymore, go through a silent protest. Like, didn't like what you saw. Okay, cool. Fine. Just let know by silent protest, you won't be getting my job. But what did they do? Oh, they were buying cans and bottles of Bud Light, and then what did they do afterwards? They were shooting it. But it's like, look, stupid, you gave them your money. Like, they don't care what you do with it after the fact. They just care that you bought the beer. So now that you bought the beer, they don't care that you're now taking pot shots at it and you're basically slamming it on the ground and all that. Like, okay, cool. You gave them your $23.99. They're fine with that. So, I don't know. My whole thing is that a lot of these people on the right are very childish. Now, I understand their sentiments, like this performer, which this doesn't make any fucking sense to me. How the hell are people saying that? Oh well, he's a TikTok star and he's trying to sell alcohol to minors. It's like, you do know, if a minor stepped into a liquor store, they will be carded 75% of the time. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand the logic that these people have. Like, these fools basically are trying to say that a clerk is so stupid that they would sell alcohol to a child. Okay, we all know that that's happened before in the past. It doesn't happen like that today. It's not as if I can send my 14-year-old niece to the liquor store with a note that states, I'm allowing my niece to grab a couple beers for me and friends, or whatever. Like, she has the money, allow her to buy the beer. They won't allow that shit now. It was 1980 something, probably 1970 something, most definitely. But now they won't do that shit. But I don't understand most of these people's logic. Like, it's weird to me that they think that since a TikTok star who has a child following somehow or another is trying to sell the beer to minors. Makes entirely no sense to me. But anyway, that's today's show, people. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let's get on out of here. So let's hit this theme music and then I'll do some promotions. So, if you could, please do yourself a favor. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to this here channel. But do me this one big favor: go to the description box, hit the Rumble link, and please follow me over at Rumble. Although that my game stream show is on hiatus probably until the fall. Plus I still gotta work on some bugs with this. Why I'm cutting out, why some of my audio isn't really working right. But until then, Mark Speaks Play is on hiatus. But Mark Speaks Live podcast is running strong. Depending on whenever I get done, my topics that I'll be talking about throughout the week, that determines what day I'll either Fridays or Saturdays. Usually I do these now late, like around maybe like 8ish to maybe like 11ish. So yeah, I'm just trying to compete. I've been always saying I've been wanting to do this here podcast on Friday. So now that I'm doing it, I like it. So the podcast may stay on Fridays once everything again. But you know, please have your ear to the Market Speak channel and get further information from there. If you're watching, if you want to hit the link, go ahead and hit that link that's pinned in the comment section. If you don't want to hit the link, I do have a call-in number, which I didn't even bring that up, which we're ending anyway. But next time, please call the call number at 302-283-9791. I repeat, 302-283-9791. If you ever hit that link or call that phone number, they're always. First two rules really apply to the link, which is you must be on camera at all times. That means in backstage, and if you want to be seen by the audience, but if you don't, that's fine. Well, rule number 2: if you don't want to be on camera to the audience, that's fine, but you still have to be on camera here on the backstage. There's a question back here that you can answer, so I can further help you with whatever it is you want. As far as the link goes, so make sure you utilize those tools, please. And this last really applies to both the link and the phone number. Please silence all background noise. All right. I don't want to hear anything that's going on in your life. I care. So if you could turn that down, and if not, if you can't seem to do that, I will boot you or hang up with you. I'm only trying to run a semi-professional podcast here, so please work with me because I like to work with you as well. All right. The last thing I'll have to say is please like this video, subscribe if you're new here, and hit that bell icon. Also, please share this to your social medias, your friends, family, co-workers, anybody who you think will give a fuck about a good podcast, all right? And with that being said, I only have some words of wisdom. That is, please fucking get into the money, because we all know money makes the world go round. Also, please drink more water for health purposes, and please mind your own business for health purposes. If you didn't believe a damn word I said tonight, it's fine. Do your own research. Help you out in the long run. I have been your host, Marcus. This has been Marcus Speaks Live. I thank you guys for being here, and I thank you for watching. And I will check you guys out next week. Peace out.